What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be showcasing a brand new Lightfall exotic weapon that you can get in-game right now. Now, how is that possible? Well, the weapon in question is the Quicksilver Storm exotic auto rifle, and you can see just by the look of this thing, it fits into the Lightfall techno theme perfectly. But again, how are you able to get this weapon this early? Well, this is the pre-order bonus. And we've had pre-order bonus exotics for expansions in the past. Most recently, for the Witch Queen, you could get the Osteostriga. But the difference here is that whenever you do decide to pre-order either Lightfall or the Lightfall Plus annual pass, I believe it does work for both. As you can see, you gain access to this exotic auto rifle immediately upon making that purchase. And then, as you can see, you just head over to the Cryptarch and pick it up along with your other pre-order bonuses. So, let's go over this crazy new exotic, talk about how it works, and if it's any good, if it's worth spending your hard-earned money on pre-ordering Lightfall. Well, taking a look at the intrinsic trait, it has rocket tracers. Landing multiple hits turn your next shot into a homing micro rocket. Then moving on from there, it has another unique trait here with Grenade Chaser. Landing multiple rockets loads a grenade. Hold reload to switch into grenade launcher mode. Sounds pretty wild. How does it actually work in game? Well, you can see this is the easiest to trigger on a singleton target. So I'm shooting this shank here, I'm doing about 800 damage per shot, and then suddenly one of those homing rockets will fly out and chunk for about 4,000 damage. So right off the bat, you essentially have an auto rifle that has the capability to do significantly more DPS than other auto rifles. Like compared to a base legendary auto rifle or even just a base exotic auto rifle, this is going to be kicking out those missiles for, again, just big chunks of extra damage. It's essentially, 6 or 7 shots worth of damage in that one rocket chunk. But again, to activate this, you do need those rapid consecutive shots. You can see that against lower level enemies like red bars, I kill them kind of before the rockets can activate. That's not to say that they don't activate, but generally this will be most noticeable on yellow bars and so on. But once 3 of those homing missiles shoot out and explode and do damage to an enemy. I did notice using this weapon that if it would shoot out and the enemy was like dead before the missile got there and it would explode and do no damage, it wouldn't trigger. But when it does trigger, you're going to see grenades loaded on the corner of your screen. And this buff will continue again with every homing rocket that hits up to grenades loaded times 3. So, once you have this grenades loaded buff, you can hold reload to, as you can see, transform the weapon into the grenade launcher version of itself. And it literally just is a grenade launcher, and as you can see, actually chunks enemies for a decent amount of damage. And something else you're going to notice right away is that this is just like the Mountaintop, one of the best, grenade launchers of all time, in a sense that it's direct trigger detonation. Wherever this grenade hits, it explodes. So if it's direct impact, it explodes. If it's the ground right beside an enemy, it explodes. Almost every other grenade launcher in the entire game, except for wave frames that have the big catch of only having the explosive damage go out in a singleton wave, is going to bounce off surfaces, or you need to hold and then release them. Being able to explode exactly where you hit is incredibly powerful in terms of ease of use. That's one of the main factors, again, that made the Mountaintop so darn good. Now, is this the Mountaintop in terms of power level? I don't exactly think so, but it shouldn't be scoffed at that this is still just a primary weapon. And as you can see right here, a direct impact chunk of this grenade launcher hits for 58,000 damage for a primary. And most of the time, it is acting like a special grenade launcher, just a little bit weaker, perhaps a little bit of a smaller blast radius you can notice as well, but I'm still capable of getting multi-kills on red bars with this thing. However, the big downside here is that while grenade launcher mode is fantastic, firstly, it takes a while to switch to, like the animation is pretty sluggish, and then secondly, you're gonna have a maximum of 3 rounds. The amount of rounds you get are equal to the grenades loaded bonus. So if you get one of those homing missiles to detonate, you get grenades loaded, just times 1. You do this, you have 1 grenade launcher shot, times 2, then you switch to grenade launcher mode, 2 shots, and again times 3, 3 shots. So it's all going well in grenade launcher mode, but you are going to run out of ammo pretty quickly. You are going to have to transform it back into auto rifle mode and start the process all over again, where you're triggering the homing rockets and all of that stuff. With all that being said, one of the interesting quirks I discovered with this weapon, and honestly one of the better parts of it, is the fact that, as you can see here, in grenade launcher mode, you can switch to a different weapon and then switch back and it's still in grenade launcher mode. So many weapons in Destiny 2, I mean, think the Teraba in Ravenous Beast mode, like it doesn't do that. If you switch, you lose all progress, but with this, it keeps that progress, it keeps the mode, and that is absolutely fantastic. In fact, something else cheeky you can do is put on auto rifle holster, and that is going to work in grenade launcher mode to let you shoot it, switch to another weapon, and then when you switch back, it's going to have a round reloaded. So that's pretty sweet as well. So, at the end of the day, is this a good weapon? Well, yes. I mean, its normal version is just a better than average auto rifle, doing significantly more damage thanks to those homing missiles. And then you have the utility of that grenade launcher mode, which remember is entirely voluntary. You don't have to switch to it whenever you want to, you can, and it's pretty decent. I also imagine that, you know, with auto rifle, let's say overload rounds, anything anti-champion, this weapon becomes really interesting. Like, I can lob a grenade launcher at an overload champion. Is that just gonna instant stun it? Is that gonna enable me to hit it from like behind a wall with splash damage? Like, all of that stuff now becomes a possibility. Combined with other auto rifle mods, I mean, I imagine getting charged with light thanks to this thing is going to be pretty darn easy with the mod that makes auto rifles get you charged with light. I mean, again, it's a grenade launcher for a lot of it. So that's all fantastic. However, do I think this is going to completely transform the meta? No, it's good, but I don't necessarily think it's like S++, absolute top tier. Essentially, no auto rifle really would be. We don't often see primary weapons really take the world by storm unless it's something as powerful as like the Vex Mythoclast after the buff and so on, and I'm not quite sure this is there. 720 auto rifles in PvP are okay, but they haven't seen a huge portion of the meta. Maybe that will change. Maybe this thing will be the catalyst for getting auto rifles to see a significant amount of play in PvP, but I'm not exactly sure. At the end of the day though, really fun, really unique weapon that again does have some powerful capabilities. And so guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.